Good evening. It is time for today's Tax Talk. I'm your host. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. It is Tuesday, April 12th, the year of our Lord 2022. And we've talked a lot. This is Crypto Tuesday. Don't forget about Crypto Tuesday. And we've talked a lot about on this show, and especially on the Crypto Tuesdays, about the regulations that the federal government is after, the IRS, SEC, the Biden administration and executive orders, and all of these different alphabet organizations that are coming after crypto, trying to find a way to organize it. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Won't you join us? So, I kind of misspoke in that I'm going to talk about the federal government, but actually we're not going to talk about the federal government. The problem with the federal government is that they take so long to do anything. And crypto, it's moving at the speed of light. We can't wait for the federal government to come up with different rules and figure out how they're going to implement all this. Crypto got where it is today, and blockchain in general, not because the federal government didn't regulate it enough, but because they didn't. Right? And if we're going to wait for the federal government to come up with regulations to protect all of us, it'll be too late. There won't be any crypto. There won't be a blockchain industry that has the potential of changing our lives, in my opinion. So what's going on? Is crypto? Is the industry and those involved in cryptocurrencies and NFTs and all of these other things, are they going to sit back and wait for the federal government to take action, decide how they're going to regulate it? The answer is no. They're not going to wait. Right? Each state now, what's going on is that the industry and the participants in the industries they're approaching the state legislatures and getting state legislatures, because they can act much more quickly, to enact rules and regulations that are beneficial to crypto. You know, we talked about El Salvador and these other nations that are trying to capture crypto, and then we have because they see the potential, and they're trying to engage those that are involved in this industry to encourage investment there. Again, El Salvador and other places. But we have cities here in America that are trying to do the same thing. The state of Wyoming, that's not a city, it's a state. The state of Wyoming is trying to bring a lot of crypto there. We've heard of Miami. New York tries to say that they're the cryptocurrency center. That's a hard push for me. Illinois, where I am, they're trying to say they're trying to encourage cryptocurrency, and so many other states and localities are trying to come up with laws and regulations to encourage investment in their areas with this new I'm using air quotes, right, with this new technology. And again, if you wait for the federal government, well, it'll never get done, and we won't have anything. So that, again, they won't wait. They can't wait. You can't wait, put us on hold and wait and hope for the best. The IRS barely understands what cryptocurrency is. We're going to wait for the IRS to come up with the rulings. It's going to be a long time. It's going to be several years. But let's do what we do first every week when we talk about crypto, and let's look at the market, because that's really this is really what's going on here. So let's look at the market. Okay, so here's the market. We go to our favorite site, What is it? Coinflip.info. Let's see what it is. Coinflip.tech. I'm sorry. Coinflip.tech. Our favorite site. It's my list, so I don't have to type it in all the time. But anyway, here's remember we've noticed, I think last week it was down in the last 24 hours, but almost always on these Tuesdays, Crypto Thursday, seems like it's up. No matter what happened in the week, seems like from Monday to Tuesday, it's up. And that's kind of where we are from yesterday. Here's the 24 hours. The Bitcoin is up about 1%. Ethereum's up about 1.4%. And so then we go to the weekly. What's it like from the last time we met? And I've been reading a lot about the crypto taking a hit, and we could see here from this chart that this last week has not been good for Bitcoin. So let's look at let's see if we can get Ethereum and look at Ethereum. It's kind of, again, they mirror each other very closely, and it's down for the week. Even though it's up for the day, it's down for the week. There's a lot of reasons for that. Well, I was going to talk about the reasons for that. I was also going to talk about the different ways that they're using blockchain. There was a good article today about how the forestry industry is using blockchain, how Wall Street is using blockchain. So that's what I was going to talk about. But as you know, I always look at the news right before we come on, and I found this great article about the state-by-state approach. It's a fairly long article, so I'm going to get into it very quickly. Try to read the whole thing because I think it's that interesting and it makes a lot of sense. And so let's dive right in, see what we can get to for the day. Okay, so crypto industry helps write and pass its own agenda in state capitals. In the absence of the federal regulations, crypto lobbyists and executives are going state by state to get favorable rules enacted. Many lawmakers have been willing partners. I love the way they talk about this. I'm going to comment on this as we go. The debate took less than 4 minutes. In the Florida House last month, legislature swiftly gave final approval to a bill that makes it easier to buy and sell cryptocurrency, eliminating a threat from the law intended to curb money laundering. One of the few pauses in the action came when 2 House members stood up to thank crypto industry stakeholders for teaming with state officials to write a draft of the bill. Whether you're buying Binance or Ethereum, Dogecoin or Bitcoin, this is a great bill. Shortly afterward, the House voted unanimously to pass the measure. The Senate followed, sending the bill to Governor Ron DeSantis for his signature after 75 seconds of deliberations. Florida's warm embrace of the cryptocurrency agenda is just a tip of the aggressive industry-led push to position states as crypto-friendly beachheads. Across the nation, crypto executives and lobbyists are helping to craft bills to benefit fast-growing industry, then pushing lawmakers to adopt these made-to-order laws before moving rapidly to profit from the legislative victories. The effort is part of an emerging national strategy by the crypto industry, in the absence of so far of the comprehensive federal regulatory demands, to work state by state to engineer a more friendly legal system. Lobbyists are aiming to clear the way for the continued explosive growth of cryptocurrency companies, which are trying to revolutionize banking, e-commerce, and even art and music. Many states are racing to satisfy the wish lists from crypto companies and their lobbyists, betting that the industry can generate new jobs. But some customer advocates worry that this aim-to-please effort could leave investors and businesses more vulnerable to the scams and risky practices that have plagued crypto's early growth. Where isn't there these things happening in all industries, even the most established industries like banking? Like stocks, bonds, all of that. In Florida, the new money transmission legislation emerged from a months-long collaboration between representatives who is starting a cryptocurrency investment fund. Vance has been an incredible asset to the blockchain and crypto community, Mr. Arms said. Similar teamwork has been on display in Wyoming, North Carolina, Illinois, Mississippi, Kentucky, and other states, according to the New York Times review of the state legislative proposals and interviews with legislatures and their industry allies. At least 153 pieces of cryptocurrency-related legislation were pending this year in 40 states and Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, according to an analyst by the National Conference of State Legislatures. While it was unclear how many were influenced by the crypto industry, some bills used the industry proposed language almost word for word. One bill pending in Illinois lifted entire sentences from the draft provided by the lobbyists. Well, let's think about this. How many bills you think go? Because I think this is the way it works in every industry, or near every industry. In New York, at least a dozen industry players have hired lobbyists over the last year, including blockchain, a crypto exchange, which is trying to set up a national crypto bank, collectively spending more than $140,000 a month. What industry doesn't have lobbyists? All in every state. Of course they do. The state. Why do they do that? Because it's effective. The state proposals include bills to exempt cryptocurrency from securities laws intended to protect investors from fraud. Other legislation, such as in Florida, would exclude certain cryptocurrency transactions from money transmission laws enacted to curb money laundering. Some would, I don't know what's going on here. Let's go back. Some would take even more radical steps, as in Arizona, where one legislator wants to declare Bitcoin legal tender so it can be accepted to pay off debts. Legislators want to be in the cutting edge, on the side of something new. We want to cultivate more champions. The moves have alarmed current and former financial regulators, a one-time supervisor of Federal Reserve. Oh, go figure. You mean regulators want to regulate? And they always say that it's good for it's best for the consumer. And I'm not against consumer protection laws, but we all, I think, can admit that it goes too far. And if we're going to protect the consumer, we're going to kill the industry, in my opinion. A one-time supervisor, he had raised objections last year before North Carolina passed a bill exempting certain experimental cryptocurrency startups from states' consumer protection laws. States are being convinced you have to do this if you want to be competitive, so they're rolling out the red carpet for crypto firms and any other firm that's trying to give them money. There's no one pushing back saying there are big risks here to your citizens or of money laundering, consumer fraud, and tax evasion. State legislatures, many of whom have limited background in financial regulation, said that they had little choice but to rely on industry experts given the complexity of the crypto marketplace. Is the banking laws are they complicated? They just said they don't have expertise in the banking laws. They still pass banking rules every day. About 2 years ago, a state representative in North Carolina spoke who wanted to pitch him crypto projects and later joined a blockchain association. What would it look like? You tell me. Their collaboration resulted in a bill that Mr. Sain introduced last year, creating a regulatory sandbox for financial technology projects, essentially a special license allowing an industry to test new products without following certain regulatory requirements. The bill passed in October. You mean like vaccine? Right? In Florida, it began with the 2019 book, Bitcoin Billionaires. State legislators started working with the crypto industry after Mr. Read the book, which details the efforts of the brothers who helped create Facebook to create new wealth in the crypto industry. He said that then spoken with the Gemini Trust Company, a cryptocurrency exchange that these brothers founded, and Anchorage Digital, the first federally chartered cryptocurrency bank, for input on possible legislation he could introduce. At the time, crypto executives were frustrated with the 2019 Florida court ruling that upheld the conviction of Espinoza, who had sold Bitcoin to a Miami Beach police officer working undercover as an operator of a Russian stolen credit card enterprise. Mr. Espinoza was charged with laundering money and failing to hold a Florida money transmission license. The ruling meant that any two-party transaction involving cryptocurrency in Florida, even perhaps withdrawing money from a crypto ATM or buying crypto on an exchange, required sellers to have a state money transmission license. For crypto companies, that necessitated meeting financial stability requirements and completing complicated paperwork. They called it the Espinoza problem. In July, a state ordered a dozen ATM providers that sell crypto in exchange for cash, including these others, to register as money transmitters, despite appeals from the companies. Documents obtained from the Thai show. Last year, they introduced a bill to exempt two-party crypto transactions after lobbying appeals from Mr. Arms and the trade group he leads, the Florida Blockchain Business Association. Well, it makes sense. It gets to be, they put so much regulations it's impossible to use Bitcoin for what its purpose is, and that's buying and selling things. Its members include Binance and large crypto exchange. The bill failed to win Senate approval, and it was reintroduced for this year's session. Russell Weigel, the Florida Commissioner of the Office of Financial Regulations, said he endorsed the legislation that Mr. Arms had championed. If I go and buy groceries at your food store, that's a two-party transaction. Do I need a license for that? It seems absurd. Lobbyists for Blockchain.com, a cryptocurrency exchange that moved last year from New York to Miami, and Bit5, which manufactures crypto mining equipment in the Florida area, joined the effort, contacting dozens of state lawmakers. They are very pro-crypto, the Bit5 chief said of Florida lawmakers. In the future, the company plans to raise money from crypto-friendly legislatures in Florida. Try to get your own legislators elected. That makes sense. That's what lobbyists do. The Legislative Affairs Director of the Florida Blockchain Association is already running for state house with donations, some in cryptocurrency, from Mr. Arms and others. I don't want it to seem like we are paying for the influence, Mr. Creddy said, but we want to support them. What's happened in Florida is playing out in other states as the crypto industry mobilizes to move its agenda or defend against efforts to rein it in. In New York, for example, concern about the environmental impact of so-called crypto mining, in which large amounts of electricity are used to run computers that allow investors to get newly issued crypto tokens, has led to a pending legislation to ban these centers. Not very crypto-friendly, is it? Another bill proposes cracking down on common forms of crypto fraud. The result has been a flood of lobbying in New York to combat these measures. The opposite is happening in Georgia and Florida, in Illinois, I should say, where legislators have proposed tax incentives for mining companies. Bring them here. The Illinois bill emerged. A crypto mining company converted an old steel mill in the state into a mining center and sought a special tax break to help finance the project. Last year, this Illinois lobbyist took an official this company lobbyist took an official from the State Chamber of Commerce to visit the project in Illinois. Keith Statz, the chamber officials, suggested modifying the state law to extend tax incentives to mining companies that set up shop in Illinois. He wrote a draft of the bill, which the chamber shared with Senga. I looked at it. I iterated with it, said the sponsor. They made sure I was good with it. In January, a Republican state senator introduced the bill at the urging of the chamber. She said in an interview she said she was not a crypto expert and hadn't heard too much about mining environmental impact. The bill's final version, which is awaiting action, is nearly identical to the draft written by Mr. Statz, including technical language about data centers and mining. Well, who else knows about this stuff? Not in the legislative proposals have come to fruition. In Mississippi, a Republican state senator proposed several crypto bills this year, including one exempting digital tokens from securities laws. He said he had gotten the idea from a lobbyist who was hoping to start a local blockchain trade association. The bills died in committee in February, and Mr. Harkin said he planned to revive them this summer. In some states where crypto legislation has passed, the architects of the proposals have moved swiftly to profit of the laws. How unlike state legislatures, or federal legislatures for that matter. Last year, Kentucky passed a pair of bills creating tax incentives for crypto mining companies. One was sponsored by Brandon Smith, a Republican who leads the state Senate's Natural Resources and Energy Committee. A few months after the bill passed, Mr. Smith teamed up with Bitmain, a supplier of hardware for crypto mining, to propose a Kentucky-based repair center for mining equipment, a project he has since abandoned. Mr. Smith, in an interview, said he did not consider his work in an industry a conflict, given that he had not applied for tax credits his law created. How many legislatures throughout the nation you think do that? Work on a bill and then make money on it? I'd say there's fewer that don't than do. Nowhere has the potential for crypto advocates to profit on a new legislation become more apparent than in Wyoming. Since 2018, Wyoming has established more than 20 laws excuse me, that make it easier for the crypto industry to operate. A key player was Caitlin Long, a Wall Street veteran and crypto booster, who helped engineer a 2019 law that paved the way for banks handling digital assets to receive Wyoming charters. That's why Wyoming's in front of things. Not long after the crypto banking legislation passed, Ms. Long opened Avanti Bank and thanked Wyoming's legislature for making the business possible. The bank promptly received the state charter. Last year, the business, now known as Custodia, raised $37 million for venture investors. Somebody has to be in the arena doing the work. Ms. Long worked on the banking legislation with Trace Meyer, a crypto investor and entrepreneur. Both had invested in Kraken, a crypto exchange that had received a state charter. Critics have accused Ms. Long of using her influence to enrich herself. Oh my gosh. What a terrible thing. They came in and started writing legislation that really gained it to their advantage. Who served with Ms. Long on a coalition of crypto supporters in Wyoming. It quit being about how do we help Wyoming people and quickly became how do we game the system for the big crypto players. Ms. Long said she hadn't decided to start a crypto bank until months after the Wyoming's legislation passed, when it was unclear whether others would take advantage of the law. It's not easy to find the right people, she said. The crypto kids in hoodies, so to speak, were not likely to pass muster. So I think that's a very good article in that it explains what's, why they're going to the states and what, again, but to say that the lobbyists are somehow being manipulative, I think that's what lobbyists do. They write legislation and then try to get it passed. That's what they do, and that's what they did here. So anyway, I hope I learned something for that, so I hope you did too. That's what it's all about, is trying to keep up with the industry and what's going on in that industry, right? Remember, every cryptocurrency, where else are you getting crypto news like this? Only here at today's Tax Talk. So please like and share, subscribe. We need you to help us get this content out to others who can use it. So please do that right away. And remember, if you have IRS problems, or if you haven't filed your taxes in some time, what do you got to do? The first thing you got to do, get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today. Go to freeirsbook.com, freeirsbook.com. Go to freeirsbook.com and get your copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today. So thanks so much for joining us here today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow's my wife's birthday, so I might not be here. We'll see how that works. So happy birthday, Ashley. That's my niece. It's her birthday today. It's my wife's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Teresa. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you.